Hi, this is Andrew. I'm here bringing you another Keyforge deck reveal. This one is the Prophet that watches gravity. It's Sanctum, Untamed, and Shadows. And this one's a bit special, new way of getting decks, I guess, that I'll share with you. Basically, the other day I happened to just check on eBay for something, and as I was there, I got a notification that said, "Hey, we have a $5 coupon for you on the next thing you buy." And I thought, I've seen a lot of decks on a lot of Keyforge decks on eBay for around $5 or even a little less. I wonder what I could get. So I went and I checked and ended up bidding on this one. Nobody else bid on it, and it was listed at a starting price of $474 and free shipping. So I bid on it with that coupon and got it, and it was free. So that's fun. It arrived earlier today, and yeah, so this is a deck that I got for free. It's very middle of the road. Nothing too crazy or exciting, but just fun deck that'll be good for teaching the game, I think, and it has a couple cool things going on. But let's go ahead and get into it. There we go. Get that thing going. So we'll start out with the Sanctum here, and we start out with a cleansing wave. So this gets us, we heal a damage from each creature, and we gain a damage for each creature healed this way. Nothing crazy, but pretty cool. One stood against many. This has some interesting potential. This gains us an amber, and then we ready and fight with a friendly creature 3 times, each time against a different enemy creature, and we resolve the fights one at a time. So this is best if the enemy creatures, let's say, have elusive that we want to burn, or they're small, or if we have a creature with skirmish, and we'll come back to that idea. It's not very likely to end up with that, but it's possible. So anyway, but it's kind of a fun, cool card that I hadn't had in any decks, so excited to get to play around with it. Here we have a Radiant Truth. It gains us an amber, and we stun each enemy creature not on a flank. This can be really strong, especially if you're behind on creature control. Take hostages. This is better if you're ahead on creature control. Gain an amber, and for the remainder of the turn, each time a friendly creature fights, it captures 1. Terms of redress: gain an amber, and you choose a friendly creature to capture 2 amber. We're 5 cards deep now and still working our way through the actions. Of course, 4 out of 5 of these have an amber printed on them, so that's not terrible. And then we have an artifact, Potion of Invulnerability, which has Omni. You sacrifice it, and for the remainder of the turn, each friendly creature cannot be dealt damage. That can be really good with that one stood against many, because then, yeah, that creature can keep banging on stuff without getting hurt. Next we have a Commander Remiel. This is one of my favorite Sanctum cards because of the cross-house synergy. It's 3 power, a human knight, and when Commander Remiel reaps, you get to use a friendly non-Sanctum creature, and this deck has 2 of them. So that's fun. If we can keep these on the board and keep creatures from other houses on the board as well, then we can do some real work with this. That's a big if, of course. We have Protectrix, which gains 5 power, or which has 5 power, and when you reap with it, you may fully heal a creature. If you do, that creature cannot be dealt damage for the remainder of the turn. This can also be really good with that one stood against many. We make a creature unable to be dealt damage and then bash it against something 5 times. That can work out pretty great. Raiding Knight has 4 power and 2 armor, and when you play it, it captures 1. We have 2 of those in here. That's some decent amber control, even though it's not permanent, it's just capture. And then we have Protect the Weak, which gains you an amber when you play it and upgrades a creature to give it +1 armor and taunt. We don't have any really big creatures here, so that's a little bit of a bummer, but you know, on a raiding night, that gives it 3 armor, which is pretty good, so there's definitely potential there. Okay, so nothing crazy here, but there's definitely some synergy with the you know, the Protectrix and the Potion of Invulnerability, and that one stood against many, along with the Take Hostages. And the Commander Remiels, along with having a Protect the Weak to put on something next to them, have a chance of keeping them out on the board. Alright, next up we're into Shadows. And we're going to start off with a Ghostly Hand, which gains us 2 amber, and if your opponent has exactly 1 amber, you steal it. Solid. Really nice if you can pull that off. 2 amber gain otherwise, which isn't bad. Then we have Miasma, which gains an amber, and your opponent skips the Forge a Key step on their next turn. That's pretty good, especially if they don't have any sort of Key Charge or Chota Hazri or anything. And this deck actually has 3 of it, so there's potential here to stall an opponent's key for a couple, maybe 3 turns in a row, and force them to build up a lot of amber. This can also just, you know, win games if you're racing for that last key and you can just prevent them from forging it. Again, there are ways around it that they could have around it, but it can be pretty good. We have a Nerve Blast, which steals 1, and if we do steal 1, then we get to deal 2 damage to a creature. If you don't steal, you don't get to do the damage. Is that Calfine down there on the ground? It almost looks like it could be. Maybe not. Something Brobnar. And then we have a Too Much to Protect, which gains us an amber, and we steal all but 6 of our opponent's amber. That can be pretty good with the Miasma. You know, if we keep them off for a couple turns, they build up a bunch, and then we're able to Too Much to Protect. That can be pretty strong. Otherwise, again, just lots of amber printed on stuff, which isn't bad. Sell them all. I'm not in love with having just one of these, but it's okay. It's an artifact that exhausts to make your opponent discard a random card from their hand. And then we have a Masus Asp, which is 3 power, skirmish and poison, so this is really good for knocking enemy creatures off the board because it has skirmish. It's safe to just keep going, and because it has poison, it only has to deal 1 damage to kill a creature. So, and because it's 3 power, it has a chance of getting through armor too, unlike Moon Cursor that has nicer effects overall, but is only 1 power. And this is also a great target for that 1 stood against many. If you have this on the board and can do the 1 stood against many, there's a really good chance you wiped their board. Then we have Nexus, which is power 3 and elusive, and when it reaps, you use an opponent's artifact as if it were yours. Strong artifact control there, especially on stuff that has Omni Sacrifice. Then we have Naughty the Thief, which is 2 power, elusive, and can exhaust to steal 1. And then we have an Old Bruno, who is elusive, 3 power, and captures 3. So that's another way to keep your opponent off from forging for a little bit as you get up to where you want to do the Too Much to Protect. Then you like throw this into something and then do the Too Much to Protect. Too Much to Protect with Nerve Blast will drop your opponent down to 5 reliably. Although, you know, that's only 1 card that can do that with it, so I wouldn't count on it coming up. Then we have a Ring of Invisibility, which gains you an amber, and then the creature you attach it to gains elusive and skirmish. So again, that you put that on something, and then later on use the 1 stood against many with it. That can be pretty good. Yeah, and I even imagine putting this on the same creature as the as Protect the Weak, and now you have a creature with an extra armor, taunt, elusive, and skirmish, which is pretty ridiculous, but of course is something your opponent will really want to kill. Alright, on to Untamed. We have Curiosity, gain an amber, destroy each scientist creature. Really good against Logos and Mars. A couple full moons here. Gain us amber for the rest of the turn when we play a creature. Key charge. Lose a key, or lose an amber, and if you do, you may forge a key at current cost. We have Lost in the Woods, which gains us an amber and pushes 2 friendly creatures and 2 enemy creatures back into their decks and shuffles. Nocturnal Maneuver, which gains an amber and exhausts up to 3 creatures. That's decent soft board control. Vigor gains an amber, heals up to 3 damage from a creature, and if you heal exactly 3 damage, then you gain 1. That's pretty cool. And then we're into the Untamed creatures. We have Ancient Bear, a Dust Pixie, which gains you 2 when it's played. Niffle Ape, 3 power, ignores Taunt and Elusive. Another Niffle Ape. Hunting Witch, who's 2 power but gains us 1 when we play another creature. And then last, and that's it. So again, nothing too crazy here. Between the 2 full moons and the Hunting Witch, there's decent chances for having a really bursty turn with Untamed, and especially with that Dust Pixie. You get into a place where you play 4 cards out of your hand, and you've burst it up to, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. You burst it up to 6 amber all of a sudden. So good opportunities there. In Shadows, we kind of have some ability to control amber short term, hold off forging, and then maybe do a Too Much to Protect. Old Bruno, things like that can help us manage their amber a little bit, and then and even a little bit of artifact control. And then in Sanctum we have a little bit of amber control, some synergy, a little bit of board control. So yeah, fun stuff. Nothing crazy. What does this not have? I mean, it doesn't have very many big creatures. It doesn't have a lot of reliable artifact control. It could use more reliable steel, more protection for the smaller creatures. There's not any, there's like no deck manipulation in this, no recursion, no archive, no draw. It's just what you get every turn. So those are the downsides to this. Again, I definitely don't think it's the strongest deck, but it's fun. It does some interesting things, and yeah, I was really excited about getting something with once against many, and really cool to be able to get one of these, at PayPal's at eBay's expense. The seller got to get rid of it like he wanted, and I got to get it like I wanted, and eBay footed the bill. So pretty good deal, very nice of them. And of course, their plan is that I'll probably at some point go back and buy something else. So should work out for them pretty okay too. So that's that. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked the video, hit the like button. If you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. I already have another deck lined up to show you soon, and that'll be coming out in a few days probably. And anyway, until next time, keep on forging.